Class. The system of ordering a society in which people are divided into sets based on perceived social or economic status. Race. A group of people sharing the same culture, history, language, or etc. Or a population within a species that is distinct in some way, especially a subspecies. Social injustice, a situation when some unfair practices are being carried in society. Or in my own words, something that needs to be stopped. We are now in the year 2016, where people think that everything is puppies and rainbows, and that we all have the same rights and power as anyone else in the world that we reside with. Fact is, we aren't all equal. People think that social justice is all about equality. What about equity? Teachers always showed us a picture of the kids watching a baseball game above a fence. The kids were all different heights. On one side of the picture, all of them got to stand on the same size box. Not all the kids could see over the fence with this box under them, but this is called equality. On the other picture, the kids each got a box to stand on that fit perfectly for the height requirements to be able to see over the fence. This is called equity, the quality of being fair and impartial. This is where society gets equality and equity jumbled up. They believe that if everyone gets the same resources, the same rights, the same laws, no matter the unique circumstances they may have, like their ethnicity, their race, sex, age, disability, whatever, that they should be good and happy because, hey, at least they're equal, right? Wrong. American Indians, Alaskan Natives, Hispanic, Pacific Islanders, Hawaiian, African Americans are more likely to live in poverty than white or Asian men. African American children are 3 times more likely to live in poverty than any Caucasian child. Unemployment rates for blacks are 2 times higher than those who are white or Asian. And if they work full-time, they only make 72% of what a Caucasian man makes, and only 85% of what a Caucasian woman would make. But let's not just stop with economic differences between these ethnicities. Now let's talk about education. Black and Latino students are more likely to attend high-poverty schools than Asian Americans and Caucasian. Why is this bad? Because minorities get schools with less rigorous curriculums, schools that have little to no resources, and have teachers who expect less of them academically, then creating no path for success in any of the students' mindsets or lives. They won't get the same education and support higher economic class and white ethnic students get. But hey, they get to go to school at least, right? Well, in 2005, Hispanic high school dropout rates were the highest they had ever been, followed by Black and American Indians. In general, each year from 1990 to 2014, the status dropout rate was lower for white youth than for Black youth, and the rates for both white and Black youth were lower than the rate for Hispanic youth. This is our future, these kids. They need the help. They need better resources. They need better care and support no matter where they're located, born in, raised in, or what they even look like. Moving on to health. Socioeconomic status and race/ethnicity have been associated with avoidable procedures, avoidable hospitalization, and untreated disease. Most people who are from poor classes also are born with low weight, which can later on produce health issues in this child's life. Socioeconomic deprivation and racial discrimination have implicated higher psychological distress. Minority children in high poverty areas are more likely to be exposed to alcohol and tobacco advertisements and drug distribution. Oh, and looky here, they are also more likely to use these drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and exhibit antisocial behaviors because of this easy access to them. Also, the odds of being diagnosed with schizophrenia were significantly higher for African Americans than Caucasians in lower poverty areas. Did I mention African Americans are at higher risk for involuntary psychiatric commitment than any other racial group? Black and Latinos in low poverty areas were more likely to be referred for commitment by a law enforcement official than any other racial group. Talking about law enforcement, Black and Hispanics are 3 times more likely to be searched during a traffic stop than a white motorist. Blacks are also twice as likely to be arrested and also 4 times as likely to experience the use of force during encounters with police. While people of color make up about 30% of the United States population, they account for 60% of those imprisoned. 1 in every 15 African Americans are incarcerated, 1 in every 36 are Hispanic, and 1 in 106 are white. Moving on to everyday situations where social injustice is again silenced out and unnoticeable, yet great in numbers. University of Virginia Student Council President Jalen Ross pointed out the racial discrimination that goes on in the workforce. He says, and I quote, "Every day, a Black name resume is 50% less likely to get responded to than the white name resume. That's everyday racism." They also researched that after responding to 1,300 ads with more than 5,000 resumes, that the job applicant with white names needed to send 10 resumes to get 1 callback, but the Black candidate needed to send 15 for only 1 callback. Point here, after all of these statistics being thrown out at you, is that social injustice is still a thing. Yeah, we might not have a formal slavery or concentration camps or anything drastic like we see in our history books, but it's still a personal thing, and it affects us not only socially, but economically and physically too. I mean, where else in the whole world do you see that 1 in 3 Black men can expect to go to prison in their lifetime, that students of color face harsher punishments in school than their white peers, leading to a higher number of youth of color incarcerated, and that African American students are arrested far more than their white classmates? Let me stop there. African American youth have higher rates of juvenile incarceration and are more likely to be sentenced to adult prison. Also, the women incarcerated has increased by 800% over the last 3 decades. Women of color have been disproportionately represented. The war on drugs has been waged primarily in communities of color, where people of color are more likely to receive higher offenses, and once convicted, those Black offenders receive longer sentences compared to the white offenders. Social injustice is everywhere, every single day, for little or big things. It's in the air, for crying out loud, and we really need to stop it. It affects everyone, from ages 1 to 90 to 100 to whatever you can live up to. It actually affects even those who aren't even born yet. We need to get rid of these drastic classes, racism, colorism, well, all the isms that are bad actually. We need to think about the children that are our future presidents, astronauts, doctors, lawyers, cops, teachers, etc., who don't get a chance to reach their dreams because of these social economic classes. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because I don't think anyone really notices it. Just like I said before, everyone thinks that we're in 2016, which makes everything alright, because we don't have all those formal ways of like racism that we used to. But it's still there, and it's still affecting all of us. And I just believe that we could all live happily if we could just all be equal. Remember the difference between equality and equity, though. I think everyone should get a chance to show their full potential. But with that, we all don't need the same needs. We all need something else. We all need a specific help in a certain area. Therefore, just like the metaphor with the kids on the boxes, we don't all need the same thing for us to be equal. We need equity, where we all get help in certain areas, and we can't expect everyone to be all right with the same correct rights, with all the same laws, with all the same providers. We all aren't the same, but we all bleed the same, and we all breathe the same. So why expect us to be less than others just because of the way we look, or the way we live in poverty or in richness? We all need different things, but we all should be treated the same. And by that, I don't mean with the same laws and everything, but I mean with kindness, with fairness, with love, with understanding, with patience. That's all we need to be able to live in peace. So with all of this, I hope you guys can come out with the thought that we don't have equity, we don't have equality, but we have a lot of working to do. And it starts at home. It starts with us. We have to stop being racist. We have to stop all of these different classes. We have to start being smart. We have to get educated. We have to know our facts. We have to see what's going on and not be blind to all the politics or social media or anything else that matters elsewhere. We have to know what's going on with our people firsthand. No matter what our religion is, no matter what color we are, no matter where we come from, no matter if we're poor or rich or anything, we have to help one another. Because if not, we're going to tear one another. And we live on a cycle where we need one another. So why tear each other apart when we could build each other up? Just love one another, care for one another, take care of one another, be open-minded to those that need differently from us, and don't think that they're being needy. Don't think that they're just being abusive. Know that everyone has certain circumstances and that we all need different help, either if we're poor or not. And if we all do this, then we could all live happily.